Hey guys, my name is Bryson Sessions and you're listening to the Bed Project Podcast. This show is a little bit different than other shows out there, so if you want an in-depth understanding of what it's about, please listen to episode 292B. It'll give you all the details for the show and what to expect. So, that being said, here is today's episode. What's going on, guys? Happy episode 300 Eve, aka 299. So, it's August 13th, 2024, 7:19 p.m. Happy birthday, Jake. Man's now in his 20s. Good for him. Okay, so there's a topic I've been wanting to hit on the head for a while now, and I just haven't gotten around to it. It's so short, and it's honestly a really important self-realization, for me at least. So I love listening to podcasts. I love listening to Andrew Huberman, Andy Elliott, Andy Frisella. I just realized I named 3 Andrews right there. Or Andys. Damn, dude. Andy Elliott, Andy Frisella, Andy Huberman. All right, cool. So if your name's not Andy, you probably won't make it. And that's from the sample size of 3 of episode 299 of the Bed Project Podcast. You can cite that in your research articles. So, yeah, so I listen to a lot of them. I listen to Chris Williamson, Modern Wisdom. I listen to sometimes The School of Greatness, sometimes Iced Coffee Hour. I listen to Chris D'Elia, funny shit. What else? Let's pull this thing up. I listen to... I listen to Alex Hormozi, obviously. I listen to Joe Rogan sometimes. I listen to Lane Norton sometimes. All of these guys, with the exception of one, they're all educational. Like, you're going to learn something. You're going to get in the know somehow. You're going to learn, or you listen to gain knowledge to then implement that knowledge into your life later. That's why you learn. That's why I listen to these podcasts, and I mean, those aren't the only ones I've ever listened to. I've listened to plenty in the past. But the reason why I'm sharing this is because I've noticed in the last couple months, I've kind of fallen off listening. I wouldn't even say the last couple months. I'd probably say the last 6 months. I've kind of fallen off of listening to podcasts so much. I mean, I used to listen to like 2 or 3 or 4 hour-long episodes every day, and that was kind of all I did. And then that combined with watching YouTube videos and tutorials and blah, 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 and how to do things or how to whatever. And I'm also a book reader. I like to read books. I've probably, I don't know. This is not to sound impressive whatsoever, because it's absolutely not, but it's just to kind of paint a picture. I've probably read 30 books in my life since graduating high school. Maybe. So, I don't know. Take that with what you want. I don't think that's much at all. But I would go in spurts. So I'd be like, okay, I'm going to read this book and this book and this book and this book and this book, and I'm going to learn all this, and then I'm going to implement it. And I never did the implementation part. I would just read, consume, listen. I wouldn't do anything that I was being taught at all. I wasn't doing shit. And recently, I've been so fucking annoyed with myself, because it's like, how many more episodes of podcasts am I going to listen to? How many more books am I going to read? How many more YouTube videos am I going to watch? And just still not do anything, like not even bare minimum. How many more, So, like, I've had that self-realization that I am what they call a success zombie. I read all the things, watch all the videos, listen to all the podcasts, go to all the seminars. I don't do that, and yet I'm still in the same exact spot I was, financially, business-wise, all that stuff that I have been in my whole life, and I don't want to do that anymore. So over the last few months, I've noticed that I don't really listen to many podcasts unless I'm actually, so like I've listened to a shit ton of Alex Hormozi because I'm actively implementing what he's teaching, and it feels good. Like the $100 Million Offer book. I've read that book almost 3 times now. I'm just rereading it after I go. I'm currently reading it for my bad. I've read it twice. I'm on my 3rd go now. And there's just so much value packed in the book. You don't retain every single bit of information every time you read a book fully. Like, I probably gain like 8% more knowledge each time I read it, So if I can read this thing 12 times, get up to 100% or 96, then I'll be pretty close to knowing everything a lot better than I do now. But there's something sexy about reading a book a week for some reason. You know what's sexy, dude, in my opinion now, is reading a book, 52 times a year. The same book 52 times a year, and just mastering every aspect of that book. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do now. I'm just reading, I'm watching shit that I will be working on or that I will be implementing, and I try to stay away from things that I'm not going to implement. So a lot of Andy Frisella stuff. Love him to death. Love the show. And I'm going to share it right now, so I'm not a hoe. But listen to Andy Frisella, Real AF, talks about a lot of good shit. We got current events. We got business. We got success, personal development. A lot of good shit. So go listen to his show. But love the man to death. Love everything he puts out. But it's hard for me to listen to a lot of podcasts like that if I'm not actively doing something about it. It's like, I listened about this, about how to make your employees better. Cool. I don't have employees. So this does not pertain to me. This is not important information for me to have at the moment. Later in life, absolutely. But right now, what am I doing? Or listening to Andrew Huberman and talking about certain diets and shit like that. Or not diets, certain like cold plunge protocols, or listening him talk to other guys about how to get the best sleep or whatever. If I'm not changing how I sleep, or if I'm not implementing what he's teaching, or if I'm not doing cold plunges, or if I'm not whatever, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I'm listening to this stuff to learn. Like, I get that, and I will always back that. But like, I'm not going to read a book to say I read a book. I'm not going to watch a video and be like, yeah, I watched this 8-hour webathon and learned all these things. It's like, well, okay, what are you doing about it? That's me talking to myself. So pretty much the only podcast I listen to is Modern Wisdom with guests that I like, such as Alex Hormozy, and then The Game, which is Alex Hormozy. And I don't really know what else to say other than he just puts out some fucking incredible content. And we, in the modern day, are so lucky to have a man like him kind of leading the way. So all the stuff that I'm currently learning now, I'm actively implementing. And yeah, so that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I've kind of come across the self-realization that I read and I say I know things. And I'm like, hell yeah, I'm better than everybody else because I read books and I know more information than they do. And none of that matters if you don't do anything about it, You could be the most intelligent person in the world, but if you don't do anything with the knowledge you have, I would consider that an ultimate waste of life, Born with all these gifts and talents and perspectives, and you don't share it with anybody, you don't try to make the world better, you don't try to pass it on at least, what the fuck are you doing, man? It's a waste. So kind of caught that kind of at a young age, right? 26 years old when I caught it. And then over the last few months, I've been doing my best to actively implement what I learned. So yeah, so that's pretty much what I wanted to share. So yeah, that's the show. And a tip, I guess, stop consuming shit to just consume it. I mean, unless you're entertained so much by it, like, you do you. But if your goal is to get better, you got to start implementing shit. Just fucking start, dive in, figure it out as you go. That's what I'm doing with so much right now. And I feel so silly doing it. Like, I don't know what I'm doing half the time. But you can't be confident and not know what you're doing at the same time, because confidence comes from the act of, or it comes from familiarity and comes from repetition. And if you don't know what you're doing, you don't have any confidence, you don't have any repetition. So, yeah. You're never going to know what you're doing. Unless you've done it before. So anyway, guys, that's the show. That's all I wanted to say today. It's $2.99. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Jakey Joe. I love you, big guy. You're my favorite cousin. You make me so proud, big guy. I'm really happy that we get to work together and that you're my little cousin and you're a cute little guy. I love you, dude. I'll see you at work tomorrow. We get to go to work at this. Just kidding. All right, love you, dude. Peace. Or I love you guys. Peace. I love you too, Jake. Good night. That's the show. Bye. If you haven't already, please go check out episode 292B. It explains what the show is about in depth. If you are a new listener and want to know what the hell is going on, why I sound like shit, why it's not organized, why it's not professional, 292B explains it perfectly. So go give that episode a listen if you haven't already. Thank you so much for giving my stuff a try, and I will see you tomorrow for another episode.